Go and get me that water, boy. I want some that's on me. Don't give me any other shit. Million. Now I'm gonna get you when I see you. I'ma spit you. Better give me that good water, or I'll piss in your daughter. Gonna hit you with the beat while I blast it on the street. Don't run away from me, or I'll cut off your feet. Now show me around the place. You'll be where I can wait and see the perfect place for me to stand up so I can shoot you. Then I'll turn around and boot you, throw you off a curve fast, or grab a shirt and some dirt, mix it up and call you fur. Watch that booty twerk, grab my dick and insert it, fly away like a bird. Drink some water, it's good for you. Maybe it will prevent you from catching the flu. Look at me now while I'm flexing all this ice. It's frozen in a bottle, you don't wanna take a bite. Looking at her booty, seeing that she was so thick. So I yell, yo, can I get a fucking lick? I'm drinking that Poland Spring, you see. Stop wearing that fake ass AP on your wrist, my brother be on the motorcycle way. I be screaming out the shade when she kicks me in my dicky. I'll get licky on her titty in the middle of the city. We be beating up a bitty and be throwing up the 50s at that party. We be litty. Stop drinking that coke, it will fizzle in your throat. I'll show you the way out so you won't get freaked out. Sipping Aquafina, fighting stronger than John Cena. Stop slurping on that lean, I be smacking at that beehive. I drive up to the car show in my golden Lambo, rev it up with my bros and show you all how it goes. Can you give me some free body armor? It tastes better than just normal ass water. I know you think I'm crazy, but you're beating pretty lazy. Stop picking at those days and I'll show you how to fixing better. Pick up that controller, move your left shoulder. Now sit down and relax, and now I'll show you who's much older. Alright, I give you a minute. Did you drink some water while you were at it? It's okay. I'll just say what I want to say before I end this thing. They call me insanity, so watch your profanity. You only get one shot, so you better make it drop. Be happy with what you had before it turns into what you had. Don't be mad, don't be sad, just walk away and laugh. If you need some time alone, that's okay, just call my phone. If you need
Had this girl, she was like really oversized, like really overweight, and she had one of those like scooter deal things, and she had a cooler like on her scooter, and she filled it with merchandise, and I was like, oh, maybe she's using that as like her shopping cart or whatever. But then she exits the store, and I was like, fuck, I wasn't expecting that, so I ran out of my office all the way up front. Thankfully, she stopped at the sidewalk, pulls out a cigarette, and starts smoking. And I was like, ooh. So I went up to her and I was like, ma'am, I'm going to need you to come back with me. You didn't pay for your merchandise and you passed all points of sales. Like, we have to process you as a shoplifter, but it's not a big deal. I'm not getting police involved. She's like, I'm not coming back with you. I was just coming to smoke a cigarette. I said, yeah, you're right, because everybody comes out and smokes a cigarette before they pay for their merchandise. I was like, I'm not trying to argue with you, but you just got to come back with me. And like, I kept trying to convince her to come back with me. And all of a sudden, she gets up from her scooter and starts running. I was like, no fucking way. I was like, you don't even need the scooter. And you got to come back for your scooter. What are you going to do? Fucking leave it here? And she didn't get far because she was really overweight. And so I called the police and I was like, I have like this really large woman running in my parking lot. She's a shoplifter. And they're like, I'm sure we'll catch her. And sure enough, they caught her. I had to go identify her at the station. He was like, we got her. If you want to keep her scooter at your store and come identify her. And I was like, yeah. I was like, that's fine. It was so funny. I was like, damn, dude, this woman don't even need it. She fucking got up fine and ran away. Yeah, it was so hard when she ran away. I was like, I know I'm gonna catch her, but this is too funny. She didn't even run with, because she had the cooler, so she didn't even grab any of the merchandise. She just got up and ran. I had a shoplifter one time tell me that she had to go pick up her son so she'd come back for me to process her as a shoplifter. I started laughing. I'm like, hell no, you're not coming back. I was like, you're coming back with me right now, or I'm just gonna call the police. She's like, well, I'm not coming back. I gotta go pick up my son. And I was like, I don't give a fuck about your son. You need to come back with me. And she kept arguing with me. So I was like, you know what? Fuck you. I gave you a chance. So I called the police and they pulled her over on the side of the road. Well, she had a suspended license and already an outstanding warrant. So they took her right then and there. And I was like, now your vehicle's getting towed when you literally could have just came back with me. I processed you and you could have left and no police would have gotten involved. But you just had to be a fucking dick. I was so pissed off. Because I hate dealing with the police too. I mean, they're not really the nicest to me either. Like they get very impatient. Like I'll be writing their paperwork for them and shit, and they'll be like, "Are you done? Like, are you almost done?" I'm like, "Calm the fuck down. Like I got a lot of paperwork to fill out for you. Like shut the fuck up." So I don't really want them in my office either. So I always tell people like, "Please don't make me call the police 'cause I don't want to." Like please. Especially if I'm high. I'm like, "Fuck, man, I don't want to deal with this shit right now." Usually when I'm straight up like usually like with young especially young black girls, if I'm straight up with them, they kind of tend to understand. It's more like the really ghetto girls don't really listen to me. They just kind of say like one fucking punch me in the face. So like they're kind of nasty, but like really young black girls, they're pretty good to talk to. Like I got a bunch of young group of girls. It was like four group of girls. They were really young. I think the youngest was like 17 and they ran into the parking lot and I was like, guys, please just come back with me, trust me, I'm not gonna call the police. Like I tried so hard and then finally the girl was like, you promise you didn't call? I was like, look at my phone call. I was like, look at my log right now. And I pulled out my phone. I was like, do you see police in here right now? I was like, trust me, I don't want them here either. And she was like, okay, fine. And so all of them came back with me and when we were in my office they're like, you are so nice. And I was like, no problem, guys. And she was like, I feel like the world is out to get me because I've had so much bad karma happen to me this past month. I feel like the universe is telling me to stop doing bad things. And they were actually pretty cool, but it was funny. They had me cracking the fuck up. She was like, usually you guys, security, are like assholes, but you're really nice. And I was like, I told you guys, if you cooperate with me, I'm gonna like do everything I can to get you
Mm-hmm.
out. I mean, I just want my merchandise back. That's all I want.
Mm-hmm. Exactly how that's how police want it. Like when people like get pulled over and they're just like, "Can we just get your registration
Yeah,
and
like we
shit?"
just want cooperation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. And then you can be free on your way. But once people like get out the car or like argue and be like, "Oh, I didn't do anything wrong," and they think they're above the law, and then that's when everything escalates and things get out of hand. But then again, that's not on
Yeah,
the cop; it's on them because they're not just cooperating and just being easy.
I 100% there are definitely rookie cops out there. The one time me and my boyfriend were downtown Buffalo and we were going out to this bar and he has tinted windows on his truck and he has like subwoofers and shit, so we were bumping and all of a sudden we got pulled over, which I was really scared because I was rolling a blunt and I was like, fuck. And so I like rolled everything up and like stuffed it in my shirt and I was like freaking out. But he comes up to my window and we rolled down the window and he was like, oh, I thought you guys were black. You guys can go. And me and Matt looked at each other and we were like, what the fuck? And if I didn't have weed inside my shirt, I would have cussed him out. I would have been like, what the fuck did you just say to me? Because we're not black. You fucking, we can go. But I had a bunch of weed on me. So I was like, okay, thank you. And I like rolled up my window and I was like, let's go. But it really pissed me the fuck off because you really pulled us over because you thought we were fucking black. Like, that's fucked up. So there's definitely some rookie ass cops out there that are like assholes and take advantage of their power. But
Yeah,
like you said, for the most part, when you get pulled over, they just want cooperation.
yeah,
But um, there's definitely some asshole cops out there. I've witnessed it a few times,
yeah.
and I'm not cool with it because I'm not racist. So when I see that type of shit, it really fucking pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
And like, since my family's Puerto Rican, a lot of my aunts and uncles, they married into black. And
Mm-hmm.
so I have like a lot of black cousins and shit. And so like, I don't know, that kind of stuff really bothers me because I do see them being mistreated a lot, especially when I go to their house and like the city and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they get treated a lot differently than if they were white. So I do feel bad to an extent.
Hmm. Okay.
But then there are some people who just act like fucking assholes. Like the one time we were sitting outside and we were smoking and like this cop wasn't gonna say anything, but this kid that we were with just started cussing the cop out, saying, "Come on, I dare you, t say something, test me, blah 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 blah." And I looked at the kid and I was like, "Dude, you're like looking for problems. Like the cop is not even doing anything, and he's not even saying anything to us, and you're just like trying to start shit."
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of frustrating. So I feel like it goes both ways.
Yeah. It's just like
Because when
with
you're in the city, they're not
anything.
gonna fucking say shit to you about smoking weed. They don't care about weed.
Yeah, there's bigger problems out there.
Yeah, so like we were just smoking and I was like, dude, you need to chill out before he starts saying shit to us about us smoking.
Mm-hmm. Like there's even cops in my area. Like I'm in a small town. Like it's a mile long and there's like 10,000 people. But there's been times where like people have been caught and the cops are just like, well, if you're gonna do this, just don't do it in like public. Like find your own like secluded area and just do it there, so we don't have to like
Yeah, like
write a ticket and shit.
there's been situations we were I don't know how this happened. I thought that she was trying to fuck us over, but she wasn't. We were in like this huge field and we were partying, but it was private property. Like no one we knew owned the field. Like we found the field and we started partying. And so like all of a sudden a bunch of troopers and sheriffs showed up and they were
Mm.
like, you guys, what the hell are you doing? We had a bunch of cars back there. All of us were drinking. And they're like, so obviously you guys are going to be drinking and driving. And we were like, kind of freaking out. I walked there because it was down the street from my house. So I was like, I walk, can I go? And she's like, yeah, you can go. She let everybody who was driving go in front of her, didn't even take a breathalyzer test. She was like, if you guys can walk in a straight line and prove to me that you're not drunk, I'll let you guys drive home right now. But you guys all have to pour out all the alcohol you have and you guys have to leave right now. And so she let everybody drive home. It was just very odd to me. I was like, you know, everyone's drinking and you just let them drive. Like, it was just very odd.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very odd situation. And we were all in high school. Like, we were high schoolers. And I was just like, okay. I feel like she's testing us because I thought she was waiting for someone to get in their car and start driving and she was going to charge them with DWI. But she didn't do that. I was like, wow. And it was funny, she was the only trooper who was a female, and everyone else because there was like 15 of them, and every single one of them was a male except her, and she was the one calling all the shots, and it was so funny. I was like, damn, girl, get it. She was like, you go check him, check their bag, you do this, and you do that, and you guys come over here, and I was like, shit, she's fucking intimidating as fuck.
Jeez.
I
Was she like
know.
was
Like,
she short?
Yeah, she was short, and she had like really like her voice sounded like this. I was like, shit, she's had a rough life. She's been wrung and hung up to dry. She was definitely rough. But yeah, I think her name was Hazel. It was
Mhm.
something weird like that, like very like different. Heidi or Hazel or something like that.
Mhm.
I'll always remember her. She was quite scary.
The short women always have that temper.
She was fucking scary, dude. It was funny because like out of all the cops and troopers that or sheriffs and troopers that were there, she was the one calling the shots. I was like, damn, get it.
For real. Was she like younger or
Get
older?
it. Get it. Get it. Older, like old.
Ooh, damn. Like 50?
Yeah. Like she's probably already retired, yeah.
Wow.
Or like about to retire because that was what I was like a freshman in high school, so that would have been like I graduated in 2015. I can't even do math right now.
That was like 5 years ago.
That I graduated, but the part like I was a freshman when that happened.